Welcome to the Liberty Reports training series. In today's video, we will be discussing the DBMin function included with your Liberty Reports software. The DBMin function for Liberty Reports returns the smallest value from a column in a table. The rows that are compared can be limited by applying a filter. In our example today, we'll be starting with a driving query that pulls a list of AP vendors. We'll then add the DBMin function for each row to provide the first AP invoice due date for each vendor. The easiest way to use one of the Liberty Reports functions is to select the cell in which you wish the returned value to be displayed. Then select the Function Wizard button located in the Liberty Reports ribbon. Doing so brings up a list of the most commonly used Liberty Reports functions. If we select a specific function like DBMin, we are presented with a description of the purpose of the function as well as the proper syntax of how the formula will appear upon completion of the wizard. Once we've selected the DBMin function and we click Next, we are presented with a list of our available database tables for the existing connection. In this example, we are connecting to a Sage 100 contractor database, and since we are wanting to find the first invoice due date for each AP vendor, we'll select AP Invoice and click Next. We're then presented with a list of columns for the AP Invoice table. We'll select Due Date and click Next. Now we're prompted to create conditions that we can use to filter our result based on the information provided by our query. We'll click Add Condition, and in this example, we'll be filtering the function results based on the vendor ID. To do so, we'll select Vendor from our column list, select the equal comparison operator, and for the Compare To value type, we could use a literal value and select a valid option using our Value drop-down menu, or we could use a database field value type and select the desired column name. But in this example, it will be best to use a cell reference. In this manner, we can use the same function for each rows in the driving query. Once we've selected cell reference as our value type, we can use the Cell Selector tool to select the first vendor ID listed in our driving query and click OK. Clicking Next brings us to the final stage of our function wizard, which provides options for our column layout. Namely, should the columns display left to right or top to bottom, whether or not to include column captions, which will also insert the column name along with our function results, and the option to fill the formulas down should the function be inserted adjacent to an existing query or function. Since we are only returning the one value, we can leave the layout set to left to right, and we don't want to include column captions as we've already defined a header. Since we want this function to populate for the entire query, we'll leave the option to fill down formulas selected. Once we're done with our changes and we click Finish, we are presented with the first AP invoice due date for each vendor. Notice that since we left the fill down formula option selected, our resulting function has automatically populated for each query result. Were we to refresh the query and a different result set was returned, our adjacent function would automatically update with the new results. This concludes this segment of the Liberty Reports training series on the DBMin function. Thanks for watching. We hope you found the information useful.